I think, man, it's funny. I think the true measure of wealth is happiness, right? Like I really do, and that's not saying that I'm against money. I'm not against that at all, because you gotta work hard, make your money to take care of your family, and be able to bless people. But I think it's a lot of people with so-called wealth, and they don't have joy and they don't have happiness, right? And I feel like joy, happiness, and peace is the most important things we can possess, right? And for most people, their material possessions they feel are the most important. For me, when you got joy, when you got peace, when you got happiness, I think that's true wealth, because you can't put a price on that. Like for me, people can't understand. A guy asked me just yesterday, "What do you think about stem cell? Why don't you go over to London or one of these places somewhere and try to get stem cell for your arm?" And I was like, "I got peace." And he's like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "I'm good with my situation, right? Like I'm wealthy because of that. I got something that you can't put a price on, right? You can't price out my joy. You can't price out my happiness. You can't price out my peace." Now, if I measure wealth by money, money is a number. Numbers never end, right? So you never catch it. Numbers never stop. If your happiness is predicated upon a number, if you're being wealthy is predicated upon a number, you'll get it. Then it's like, okay, I got to set it a little bit higher. The number will never end. And so therefore, you'll never be wealthy enough. Empty the bucket, man, was this thing that I created just about emptying everything, right? Like everything you got, not living on reserve, right? And I'll tell you where it came from. So when I was a freshman, I had a roommate, right? Extremely talented. He's my guy until this day. Like we're super cool. That's my brother, right? But when we first got our financial aid checks, and I got like 2,500, and he got something I think close to 4,000, right? We came from similar places, similar backgrounds, similar family experience. And I was like, I'm going to the bank. I'm gonna open up me an account. I've never had this much money. And I was like, man, you need to come to the bank, open up you an account. And he was like, I'm gonna spend this. I'm gonna spend all this. And I was like, man, you wanna save a little bit of your money? He's like, no, that's the problem. I might not get this much again. And I was like, just come with me to the bank. And so I go to the bank, open up me an account. He opens up an account. He gets his card. And we go to the store, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. Right? He started buying everything. Give me that. Give me those shoes. And we get to the counter, and the lady is ringing it up, and he gives her the card. And she swipes the card, and the card didn't go through. Right? He looks at me, and I'm like, man, don't look at me, big spender. You the baller. Right? And he was like, ma'am, can you swipe it again? And she swipes it again, and it didn't go through. And he looks at me, and I'm like, don't look at me, man. Look at her. And he's like, ma'am, the football office gave me the money. Can you please try it again? I know I got the money. And when she swiped it, it didn't go through. And as she was handing him the card back, she said to him, sir, you probably have the money, but you didn't pull the strip off to activate it. She was like, you never activated the card, right? And I was like, for most people, man, you could be great, but you haven't even pulled a strip off to activate it, right? Like you can be great, but you're living on reserve, right? You didn't empty the bucket, right? You didn't give everything you had to every aspect of your life. Like for most people, they're great professionally, but they end up becoming a public success, and behind closed doors, they're a private failure. Not because they don't have the talent or the skill set, they don't have the character, right? That they can apply it and be consistent in every aspect of their life and empty out everything they got to everything, right? Now, one would say, okay, well, when do you tone it back, right? You find pockets to turn it back, right? Of course, you don't just give everything you got all the time, right? You get to a point where you learn to be efficient and effective in every aspect of your life. And for most people, it's not a problem with skill set. It's a problem of character. And empty the bucket is having the right character to be consistent and empty out everything you got in every aspect of your life.